Let's learn another skill. If you learn this one well, it will change your life. It will absolutely change your life. It's the ability to use words in a way that we call enforceable statements. And it's not because you're big and scary that when you use words, your kids are going to be intimidated into believing you. It's because you're going to use words in a certain way that you can absolutely 100% back up. You're going to be using words. This is a technique that my good friends Jim Fay and Foster Klein put together. You describe what you will do or what you will allow. You'll try not to tell the kid what to do. You'll try to avoid telling this kid what to do and to do it now, especially. And you're always, of course, going to stay in that calm, strong, and even empathetic mode. But here's what it looks like. Hurry up and get your chores done. You are just lazy. You haven't done a single thing all day. You're just laying around. You never do your chores. Would you hurry up and get your chores done? When you talk like that to kids, what's likely to happen? Nothing except for slow movement, bad attitude, disrespect, a little bit of fight. When you tell a kid to hurry up and do it now, what do very often kids, how do they respond? The opposite. Have you seen how slowly some kids can move when you're getting on them and trying to tell them to do something now? Have you seen how they resist and move like snails and make it as hard and as long and miserable a process as possible? Yeah. How about if you said the same thing, like this? You're telling the kid what you will do, not what he has to do. I will be driving kids to the movies when all their chores are done. Which one is enforceable? Hurry up and get it done now. Do you actually have the physical power to get your kid to be motivated and do a good job on his chore? But do you have the power to control whether you're going to drive kids to the movies? You see the difference? One is in an angry, intimidating kind of way, trying to get someone else to do something that you want. And another is a promise of what you will do or what you will allow. Let's see which one is enforceable here. Quit asking me for money all the time. I'm sick and tired of you asking for money every single week. You run out of money, you're broken, you ask for more. I'm just sick and tired of it. We just get responsible, would you? Or, I'll be giving you allowance, just a few bucks on Saturday morning. Dad, I need it now. It's Wednesday, but I need it now. My friends are going to the mall and I need that money now. Well, you can give her the lecture and get angry, and that's pretty much unenforceable. Telling her to be responsible with her money, telling her to plan better, telling her to be a better kid, a more responsible planner with money matters. Really? Or you can tell her, I'll be giving allowance on Saturday morning. Which is enforceable? See the difference? How about this one? Hurry up and eat your food. Hurry up and eat your food. We got to get out of here. Hurry up. And you see how slowly kids will then. Or you can say, I'll be leaving in about 5 minutes. Which is enforceable. See the difference? How about this one? Get that homework done right now. Or feel free to use the TV after your homework is done and checked and correct. Now, somehow along the way, we've learned to use kind of bossy words with kids, telling people what to do all the time. Some of us even have that as a parenting model that lives in our head, don't we? Like to go around and boss around those little kids, tell them what to do. Well, very often kids are reluctant to go along with our words, especially when they've been delivered in that angry, somewhat disrespectful kind of way. And so some kids are absolutely going to put on the brakes and try not to do what you've ordered them to do in an angry or disrespectful way. But if instead you say something simple like, feel free to use the TV or play your game after your homework is done and checked and correct, then you can deliver a message that you can absolutely enforce because you've said what you will do or allow. How about this one? Don't you talk to me in that tone of voice, young lady. I'm your father. You will treat me with respect. You understand? Be treating me with respect. Did you see the look she just gave me? And she looked at me, even here in this adult-to-adult role modeling, she looked at me like, you can't make me. Can I say it differently to her? Hey, I know you're kind of upset. I'm glad to talk with you about this. When your voice is calm, I'll let you know when we're ready. Can you do it differently like that? Okay. Quit your whining right now. Enforceable or unenforceable? Everybody together. Quit your whining right now. Enforceable or unenforceable? Unenforceable. I am sick of reminding you to make your bed. From now on, you're going to make it every single day. Do you hear me? Enforceable or unenforceable? How about this one? Where were you? Don't you keep us waiting like this. I've been saving dinner for you for over an hour, you inconsiderate monster. How about this one? Don't you be leaving your bike in the driveway. You've been leaving in your bike. I almost run it over at night. For crying out loud, from now on, I'm sick and tired of this. You're going to put that bike away every single night. You're going to do you hear me? Enforceable or not? How many of you have seen kids that have left toys out in places like that where they shouldn't be, day after day, week after week, month after month, no matter how much their parents have yelled at them about it? How could we turn that into an enforceable statement? Well, I'll have to tell you a little story then about the mom who came to a parenting training like this. And one of the issues she was dealing with was this kid that kept leaving his bike out on the driveway. She just couldn't get him to be more responsible about it. She almost ran it over a few times. And she was very upset about this because she knew it was not a pattern of responsibility. She had given this kid the responsibility lecture. She had threatened him. She had never followed through on her threats. And so when we talked about these things, she put her head together with some of her friends. They put together a little plan. And she went home that very night and was able to implement the plan. Because that night, sure enough, he had left his bike lying out on the driveway again. And instead of being all angry and upset and wanting to go in and yell at him, like she usually did, she smiled. She saw that bike. She got out of her car and she picked it up. She took it inside the garage. She looked around and there she found it. One of those hooks turned into the rafters up there. And she took that little bike and reached it way up there where an 8-year-old kid, her son, couldn't reach it. She put it up there hanging from that hook. She went inside. She didn't say a single word to the kid. Not a word. Why? She's waiting to let this come as a consequence to him, like a bolt of lightning without any warning. It's going to come like a bolt of lightning out of the sky at a certain point for this kid. Well, he goes off to school the next day. He comes back home. He wants to ride his bike with his friends. He's looking around. He sees it hanging up from the hook. He can't get it. He goes running inside. Mom, somebody hung my bike up on the hook. I can't get to it. She said, I know. Well, Mom, you got to get it down for me right now. Oh, I know you'd like that, sweetie, but I'll be bringing that bike down after I think that you're going to be able to be more responsible about your stuff. I almost ran it over last night. That was so sad. I'll bring it down after I've decided that you're ready to be more responsible. What, Mom? My buddy, he's waiting for me. I need to go riding now. This only works if you don't argue with kids, right? I know you'd like to ride with Billy. He's a good kid. I'll be bringing it down after I'm sure you're ready to be a little bit more responsible with your stuff. Well, how long is that going to take? I don't know. But I'll bring it down as soon as I feel like you're ready to be more responsible with your bike. Do you hear the phrase? I'll be bringing it down after I decide that you're ready to be more responsible with your bike. Is that enforceable? Does she have complete and absolute control over her body and whether she reaches up and brings that down off the hook? Is she telling him to be responsible? Is she telling him to be a better person? Is she telling him anything? Or is she allowing the consequence to do the teaching here? Is it possible that after a few days she'll bring it down? If there's some kid who's almost a really good, responsible kid, she might bring it down the very next day. But if she thinks that this kid needs a little more emotional content to this consequence, to this learning experience, she might leave it up there 3 or 4 days. And then one day, without a word of warning, she brings it down, and it is now available again for her boy. Do you see the difference between yelling and threatening and offering enforceable statements, and maybe even an enforceable statement coupled with an enforceable action? This is a big one. Learning to use enforceable statements is not something that most of us learned along the way in our households. There might be a few exceptions here in this room. Every once in a while, I find someone whose parents were really, really good at this and didn't need to use a lot of angry, threatening words. These are the opposite. These are the antidote to those angry, threatening words that don't work very well. They are calm and respectful, strong words that do work really well because you've told a kid what you're going to do or what you are going to allow, something over which you actually have control. Are you ready? Time for you to write out 3 enforceable statements, and write them out all the way, the whole set of words that you would use. Write out 3 that you would actually be able to use in your home. And help each other. Brainstorm. Let's go around and see what people have come up with and see if it's anywhere near as close to one that I saw my wife come up with many years ago. It was around the time that our older kids were in middle school, the younger kids were still in grade school. And my wife had been pretty used to running around and collecting their clothes and making sure that they were washed and clean and taken care of. And at a certain point, she realized that she was doing an awful lot of work here, some of which the older kids were completely capable of doing. So one day, when she was feeling a little bit harassed, I saw her stomping around a little bit, and then a few minutes later, I saw this glow about her and this kind of smile on her face. One of those smiles that when you see it on a spouse's face, you say, uh-oh, possible problem for someone else. Obviously, she's feeling pretty good about something. She was wandering around with that little smile on her face. And she wandered over to the big kids and she said, I'll be doing laundry that is sorted and brought down to the laundry room. Make sure that it's sorted in darks or whites. And then to the little kids, she said, hey, I'll be doing laundry that's put in the hampers. Let me show you, make sure you know how to do it. But when the big kids now in middle school or high school didn't have their laundry sorted and brought down to the laundry room, what was going to happen? The answer was nothing, because she was not going to run to their bedrooms and gather it up and sort it and clean it and take it down and make sure that it was properly cleaned. Is it possible that by middle school and high school, kids really want to have enough nice, clean clothes to wear to school so that they look good and they're fashionable and they're really making a good style statement? Absolutely. And so when they didn't have clean clothes for an evening activity or to get ready to school, my wife would put that sweet smile on her face and say, oh, you're all out of clothes, all out of clean shirts? Oh, that's so sad. I do the wash that's been sorted and brought down to the laundry room. Maybe you'll get it down there today. That little smile. I'll be doing the laundry that's sorted and brought down to the laundry room. It was one of those steps, and she made several more beyond that afterwards as they started to learn to do their own completely. Be that as it may, what's one enforceable statement that you have come up with, sir?
I'll allow you to go to your friends when I believe you could be home on time.
Oh, I'll allow you to go over and visit your friends when I'm confident that you're going to get home on time. I like to sometimes throw in the words, feel free. Feel free to go to your friends as soon as I'm sure you're going to be home on time. I'll be giving you permission as soon as I'm sure. Nice job. Excellent. One from you.
Oh, I actually wrote down one of the ones you used because it was with one of my grandsons, and that was, I like it a lot. And I said, I'm going to share this with my daughter. So, feel free to use the television after your homework is done and checked.
Feel free to watch your show. Feel free to play your game after your homework is done and checked.
That's the battle she's going true.
Yeah. It sounds so much nicer than all those angry, threatening, lecturing words, doesn't it?
It sure does.
It does. And it's powerful because you can back it up. Nice, nice, nice. Let's get one from you.
Going to go outside and play once your homework is completed.
Hey, feel free to go outside and play as soon as your homework is done. Nice job.